in the LPL, but when you're going against a team like OMG who play through the strength of their solo lanes, what is the answer then? And they didn't have one for game number 1. We'll see if they can get something here on blue side to make that answer happen. They will be banning away that Melio from game number 1, as well as the Aphelios already. The GP targeting wins champion pool by OMG.
Yep, this Gangplank target is going to be a bit personal for the side of Wen, but something else I wanted to bring up is IG's whole team identity when it comes to the current meta, because champions like the Annie and Aphelios are extremely high priority when it comes to being blue side and taking that, or at least denying it from the enemy team. But looking at the win rates that we do have for this IG roster, we already mentioned that Crying suffering a little bit with sitting only on 10% win rate for that Annie, but on the other hand, Aphelios, man's played 5 games on Aphelios summer so far, and he has a 0% win rate. So you see that really affecting their ban choices and really needing to use that first one to get rid of a champion that they should be able to execute on.
Again, we see that tried and true classic. After game 1, fisticuffs were off. We let through the duo combos of Melio and Yuumi. This game, IG are like, nope, we don't want any part of that. We will take that Vi that worked out so well for you in game number 1. But OMG sitting on the red side say, well, you forgot about one thing. And it's a bit of a sneaky pick. And it could be this Nico, which we've seen run so rampantly through the LPL.
I love Cream, and I love Cream's champion pool. Every player that we've interviewed in the LPL, specifically mid, they've always said how Cream is an extremely aggressive laner and they need to shut him down with how he kind of depends on the wave state. But we also have to talk about how this Nico is going to get locked in for a second time. We have seen it from him once and he did do great things on it. So hopefully with Aki, having something like the Wukong will also bounce off this CC that we have for Rakan, especially getting locked in for PP God.
Love the Rakan setup for PP God and OMG. Just gives you a lot of peel back, but also a lot of forward engage to get that Pop Blossom combo in there. And now that we've gotten 2 pieces for OMG, I look forward to their composition staying on that trajectory. You're looking for big CC moments, and you're looking for damage to back that up. We will see it again, Kenny. I guess we'll see if we can get over a 10% win rate, as Annie will come out again for Crying. Maybe, I guess, some flexibility, but the Xayah going to be locked out of OMG's champion pool. It will be picked up by On, and the response is right back to that Tristana for Abel.
Someone save my boy from Meta Slave jail, because he has been playing Annie. This is going to be his 7th or 8th game in a row of Annie in the LPL. This is his 8th game. Okay, well, it is going to be 2 Annie games in a row for this first series tonight up against OMG. But something that is surprising to me is that Abel has decided to lock in this Tristana for a 2nd game in a row as well. But when you consider that you're up against Xayah this time around, you really need to play around how those feathers are placed, because I feel like it is the perfect counter when you expect something to be jumping onto your face all the time, where it is going to be the Nico and the Rakan in those team fights as well. But we'll have to wait and see what Aki decides to pick in this game 2, because we know that he does great on champions with huge force like the Vi and Wukong, but champions like the Nocturne is still up and available.
I actually really like this focus from OMG in the 2nd phase as well. The Nautilus and that Blitzcrank. We've seen the Blitzcrank up-end bot lane 2v2 so many times. And it will be the Rumble and the Wukong bans towards OMG.
There's a tiny champion called Cassante left open for this 2nd game. And it really does seem like IG... they missed a ban for Shanty, where it is going to be let open for game 2. So let's see if Shanty decides to take it.
Are they just saying, bring it? Let's see what you got. Wait, let's give the guy a chance, all right? We'll give him something strong, and we'll see what he can do on it. I don't think that's the case here at all. We do get that Poppy coming through as well for OMG. A little bit of flexibility there. We have seen a top, we have seen a jungle, but would want to see what this pick from IG is. They're going to have to lock in their remaining 2 members.
I personally think OMG should have took the Cassante away and then saved this Poppy pick as that final counter, because IG realistically could have also been baited by this Poppy pick by picking something like that Braum, or something that is going to be a melee support and struggle up against this Poppy champion. So I don't know what OMG was thinking there. Maybe they do put high prioritize onto this Poppy, but if Wink locks in Alistar for this game 2, I am going to lose my hair.
Well, don't do that. I would put a hamper on your status
My hair
of
lives
having
another
hair.
day.
We do get the Pyke locked in though for Wink, so at least you get something he's been able to play in the bot lane and have a little bit of that aggressive 2v2 action. We do get the Darius for Shanji, so the man that is always the trendsetter, it seems, will be picking up his Darius for the second time in this split.
Yep, and we've seen Shanji being as confident as ever, especially after that game 1. He is going to pick this Darius as that response to the K'Sante. They said to IG, no, we're going to prioritize this Poppy over this K'Sante. You can take it away because I have the perfect counter. As he is
had to be a bait, right?
It had to be a bait because when you do look at the isolated matchup, I feel like Darius does win slight trades, but it's going to be dependent on who goes top lane first in Beishang and Aki.
I didn't get to talk to Shanji, but in my mind's eye, this was saying, win, bring all the guns you got. I'm going to take the Darius and we'll see what you have. Trying to go against, again, one of our trendsetters, it feels, in OMG, but in the LPL in Shanji. And this matchup into a game 2, definitely looking for that comeback. A lot more meta stability for IG going into game 2, but you're opting into all the strengths that OMG always opt into. You have an aggressive jungle. You have a combo with Cream that could kill anybody on this Rift. And you have this Abel Tristana who's swinging upwards with momentum. It's going to be a lot of fun getting into game 2. I am hoping for 3 games total. I want to see IG come back from the dead, but we have some stellar comps to bring us in game 2. And I'm hoping we get the crowd pumped here as we're going to be hearing those Jios and Shanghai come to life as we hit the Rift. Well, I hope you all can hear that because I see the picture-in-picture, but I cannot hear the Jios. And if you can't,
I'm sure the
sorry.
IG fans are extremely loud in the live crowd right now at the Shanghai Arena. But like you said, Mazel, this game is going to be bloody. The Pyke is going to get locked in for Wink in this game too, while OMG, they respond with the Darius of themselves. So a lot of ultimate resets for these huge 5v5s. But I feel like both of these side lanes, if you just look at the matchup, we have an extremely vulnerable Darius who can get set extremely behind if Beishang decides to gank towards that lane. But on the other hand, we have Abel and PP God that also want to be looking for those advantages. But Wink on this Pyke, you can't be behind on this champion when you lock this in as that counter to Rakan.
You also just don't want to be even. And right now, that looks like the game plan for Abel and PP God. They got the Cole early for Abel. They're just going to try to play relax and watch how Wink plays because Wink is the one that's under pressure to get this 2v2 going. And with those skewers, very, very interesting to watch how that 2v2 goes, and especially the early influence. We see Aki, who started his Raptors, is going straight for an invade on top side.
Classic Aki fashion. He's going to do it 2 games in a row where he is going to deny this blue buff and start flipping the map once again and play towards Shanji's lane matchup. But this time around, it's the Darius, and he is going to be extra scary if he gets those kills in online early, which also might set Wen behind. But huge expectations for Wen subbing out Wise Kim and Nenny. But given something like K'Sante, hopefully we get to see a more stabilized gameplay coming into the second game.
We wash over game number 1. That didn't exist. It doesn't matter anymore. You're in this series against Shanji. Shanji has smelled blood in the water, and he wants more, and you got to try to combat that. And I think this splitting from OMG is actually so huge for them to make sure that they can try to pick at the wound that is this top lane right now. Beishang should be spotted out by Aki and will go for the 1v1 here. Not a 1v1 you necessarily want, but a decent amount of damage from Aki. Healing back up his Beishang, and Aki removes himself from the enemy jungle.
This is just Aki utilizing his lane party provided by Cream and Shanji in their winning matchups and being an absolute nuisance. Once again, he is going to get this Scuttle Crab, or at least deny it from Beishang. Look for the 1v1. He's going to get
he was a little bit behind, but he clips him! First blood to Aki! We got an attempt on bot side. The skewer comes through, but he can't get the combo. And now you just don't have any follow-up after that. Bot lane will not go the way of IG. OMG. My God.
And the snowball starts now. Shanji already proxying at 3 minutes in the game because you see the Vi dying at that Scuttle Crab, trying to suss out the situation. But Cream being there first, even committing the flash, does mean the first blood for Aki once again. And he doesn't plan on stopping Mazel.
Kid, maybe we got it wrong. Maybe OMG are cosplaying sharks at this point because they are just non-stop in this series. We'll see some non-stop back from On, though, trying to pick up PP God burning, and Wink gets OIG finally on something here in this series. It's the first kill, and we're in game number 2.
In an isolated 2v2, a really nice route from on this side is going to secure them that kill. A bit of an overstep from PP God. I guess the damage calculation wasn't correct as he was just trying to make up with the shield and block that bit of damage, but 2 bad trades does result in that kill going into the pockets of IG. But we need to talk about how Aki, once again, going back towards this bottom side and getting deep vision is really going to allow Cream and Shanzi play to their full potential. And that's something we highlighted, is that OMG, the reason why Aki is able to play with such confidence is because of his aggressive laners and how they're feeling confident with these counter matchups.
And we've seen it time and time again. When they have priority in their solo lanes, Aki is just free to let loose. We see PP God going down here from an excellent combo. That Blade Collar clutch from On.
Yeah, we see Abel getting hooked as PP God, there was a bit of a miscommunication. Abel jumped away and PP God jumped in, so he wasn't able to E back out and was unfortunately stuck in the whole mix of everything. But 1 kill into Wink's hands. I'm excited to see what he's going to do with this. It's sitting on a 4-0 win rate so far in the LPL Summer Split. This Tristana.
2 games mid, 2 games bot, 100% win rate for Tristana, and Abel is a big part of that, those 2 dubs in the bot lane. So really impressive stuff in meta shape for OMG. We were asking questions about what can they do with the meta, how do they tame this? This has been a strength for OMG in the past, and we're seeing them lead into that here. But IG leaning into some of this proactivity in game 2. You love to see it. They're starting up the dragon.
Surprisingly, Beishang is going to get this start on the Dragon, as we did have resets coming out of the mid lane of OMG, so they're not going to have enough tempo. But the biggest question is, we are going to expect an extremely bloody Rift Herald spawning in around 2 minutes. I don't think Aki gets this.
No way, Aki. Oh, it almost goes down. Beishang, he missed the flash. He's trying to get the Vault Breaker over the wall. He does end up juking him out. Nice moves from Beishang.
It's not about the journey. It's about the results and where we got there, because the first Dragon does go to IG, but at what cost, Mazel? At what cost?
My blood pressure at this point, because getting a little bit spicy there. That flash for Beishang, and then just the little jukes at the end. I love it. You're just playing a mind game there, trying not to get blocked by the Vault Breaker. But it does mean that IG get their first kill of the entire series, but as well as this early Dragon to start stacking.
Problem is, you already see Abel collecting his first play, or wants to collect his first play. He should be able to buffer this, as he does jump away. But Rift Herald now spawning in 1 minute. We do have both the OMG solo laners resetting first, so we do have Shanzi arriving to his lane. But the biggest question for me is, when is Beishang going to hit that level 6? Because that's when you start hitting the guaranteed CC, but he only just hit level 5 as Aki with the Hex Flash on the Poppy. He wants to look for something towards his bottom side.
There we go. Going in. There's that Feather Storm. Knockback on a Winky will flash. Gets out of there alive. And OMG's gank goes a little bit wide. You do burn multiple summoner spells on the side of IG's bot lane, though.
Not only the double flash coming out of IG's bottom lane, but that's also the Feather Storm, so leaving On extremely vulnerable if OMG want to revisit this. But Giga Chat Aki, my job's done here. I'm gonna start waddling towards that Rift Herald and contest this.
He really likes the Vel'Koz waving emote. I want to hear the backstory on that. Maybe there's some. Maybe he just feels like an alien. Or, you know, maybe he likes Vel'Koz. Who knows?
I'm getting a bit of a flashback. I believe it was Aki playing this Poppy the first time in LPL Summer, and man was an absolute maniac. I think he ganked bottom lane 4 times in 4 minutes. That's just how aggressive he is with this Hex Flash available. And the best thing that he does is just using that Hex Flash over the Dragon Pit to deny or avoid vision But it does seem like this Rift Herald, the next major contested objective,
They're
as we
contesting
have
it for sure.
Rakan here as well.
Flip it, flip it, flip it, flip it. Yes, yes, Keeper's verdict. Get somebody dodge it out. All right, who's it gonna get? Oh, Crying goes in preemptively. That's huge. Cease and assist back in. You got Cream coming in with a big pop blossom, and that's everyone going down. You didn't even need the guillotine until the end, and the final head is lopped off of IG.
And the game explodes at this Rift Herald as Cream lands a beautiful pop blossom onto the entirety of IG. As they also secure that Rift Herald as well. I'm not too sure who picked it up. Did no one pick up the Rift Herald?
Oh, Cream looking for the 1v1. Cream hunting down on. You can't do this. Solo bolo for Cream.
Well, I hope the Rift Herald was placed towards his mid lane because I must have missed it. But like you said, amazing solo kill onto An as well. IG, all 5 members just died at the 8-minute mark.
That's just insane. OMG wanted this fight all along, Kitty.
Yeah, and it really did seem like OMG starting off with a bad foot because the Poppy ult did miss, but everything getting committed onto Aki does allow Cream to get in with that flash pop blossom and allow Shandy to start getting those resets online. And I believe the Rift Herald was picked up by Aki and he placed it towards that mid lane, so that is my fault. Apologies for that, but OMG starting off on a strong foot and they don't plan on slowing down.
They do not. Cream's got to be feeling really, really good right now as a 4-man pop blossom really sets the tone for OMG in this second game. And just running from that first game into game 2, he got the Akali. He was looking really good on his signature pick in that fashion, but it is kind of dominance from one side in this mid lane 1v1 that we were so hyped about.
Yeah, IG continuously doubling down on this Annie pick, but we just aren't seeing results, especially when you have so many go buttons on Beishang, on Crying, where you have excellent damage to make up as that follow from Wink, blocking in the Pyke as well. We're just not seeing results, so I would love to see IG to kind of cut the bleeding with this upcoming dragon, but without any summer spells, it's going to be near impossible.
Aki looking for the lane gank onto Wink, who is an unsuspecting Pyke. Grand entrance says, how do you do? And he's looking for the pick onto Wink here under tower, trying to push him into the tower, potentially get that stun. But Abel's coming to get these turret plates. You got Beishang right around the corner.
Both ADCs will be picking up their Kraken Slayer, but we do have multiple stopwatches in the hands of Cream and PP God, so the next team fight, when it does explode out of control, we do have to keep our eyes on the lookout for that. But there's a reason why Nico is the most prioritized mid laner when it comes to patch 13.11, and it is the reason why she's able to get that lane party up against Annie, the push to deny Crying from making those roams towards the bottom side. As you already see, OMG securing so much deep vision into Beishang's own jungle, and that's really narrowing his opportunities on finding these lane ganks.
And you have to remember, Beishang first picked this Vi. It was IG's want to try to get this lockdown jungle to set up kills for the rest of the team, and they really haven't found that success when you give over a lot of these picks, specifically Nico, and now that Cream is ahead. So the decision making has definitely gone out the window for IG. They are a bit of passengers at this point, but it's still a moment where they have that single target lockdown. They have the execution from Wink, and I expect as we start getting these dragon timers coming up, and since we have a little bit of time, they will be able to contest.
Especially with IG picking up that first dragon, that does deny the soul point going over to OMG, which is going to be in 4 minutes. But I would love to see Aki and Beishang synergizing up, look for picks onto these vulnerable solo laners. We don't have the flash available for Shanzi, so they can look for a potential kill onto this Darius very soon.
That was looking like a guillotine being delivered to Wynn's door. Luckily, IG were right there behind him just in case things went a little bit sideways, but Shanji backing off in time.
I believe Crying does have to force a TP towards either mid or bottom, because this is just going to be multiple plates going towards the side of OMG as they committed 4 people to this top side play.
Goodness.
We do have follow-up coming out of OMG, but that's, I believe, 3 plates out of OMG. I believe Abel picked up 1 and then Cream picked up 1, so that's 2. Well, IG, they weren't able to find anything from Shanzi.
Really good lane allocations here from OMG. Looking on to win here as well. Not feeling threatened yet by this Cassante. But it's going to be pressure in mid lane now that will just enable OMG even more so. You thought it was easy for Aki to get aggressive when he had priority in both solo lanes? How about when Cream is just able to roam around with him? It's going to be even more terrifying.
But who's pet? Is it Aki leading Cream around, or is it Cream leading Aki? Anyways, it doesn't matter because we have Cream now sitting on the Proto Belt and that stopwatch working towards, I believe, another Magi. Man's sitting on 8 already, so it'd be a bit of a shame if he continues this trend and doesn't go something for, or at least all in terms of items. But Beishang still struggling in finding that first KP onto the map as this Vi. But I expect with that ultimate available, at least force a flash out of Cream so he isn't able to flash into your team and do the Pop Blossom thing again.
But you hear that rumbling across the rift as another turret falls in favor of OMG. It's just letting loose this wolf in the top lane that is Shanji. And it gets more terrifying as things come down because the team fight and the damage that OMG are going to be able to put out is going to be pressing. You also have a Rift Herald spawning on the map right now with a lot of pings from OMG.
Really doubt
Don't look
IG,
at the left side of your screen. Don't worry about it.
I really doubt IG are going to be able to contest this upcoming Rift Herald. Shanzi once again bullying Beishang's own blue buff and is going to secure that for himself as well. And Cream does pick up the Magi's as that second item, but I feel like IG, if you're going to just play standard and do nothing in this early game, especially when you are given great tools like the Vi and Pyke, but OMG, they are denying every single opportunity and angle for this duo to find kills onto the enemy team, and they're slowly bleeding out 2 games in a row.
And that's not the trajectory we would have wanted to see. Obviously, we had the changes that we've been talking about for IG, Beishang, and Wen. But even Cryan coming into the IG fold, right? Like I think that this top side of the map does have a lot of strengths through it. We've seen Cryan in his past have a lot of strength. I mean, he's an MSI champion for a reason. But it's still about putting the pieces together, right? Right now, the puzzle pieces just aren't fitting. But maybe here on the Cream.
This could be the final
Cream, how do
piece.
you like puzzle building? He goes gold and says, I don't mind because I like puzzles too. As he's got the Pop Blossom out. That will be a big summer burn from the side of IG in the flash for Wink. They were able to fight a little bit with a bit of gusto too in the bot side.
That is going to be 3 huge ultimates out of OMG,
Oh,
but
no.
no one is stopping Abel from being a tower menace once again on this Tristan, and that opens up the map so much to allow Aki and PPGod to look for those picks. You just see OMG is just denying IG on all these skirmishing opportunities so perfectly to the point that on the other side of the map, they are losing tower after tower.
And there's resets actually coming out from OMG right now, but they'll be able to reposition right back down here for a dragon fight. There's the Hex Gates that'll help them get to that position, get some vision out there. And I think if they're in prime position of the objective, I don't know if IG can fight that yet.
Fortunately, is only going to be second dragon for the side of OMG, so realistically, they can let this one go. I don't think they have the circumstances to even walk in. But you also have to consider Cream doesn't have that Pop Blossom available, so potentially you do need to play around those huge cooldowns. But I think the next big one is going to be Baron, because IG, they don't have amazing wave clear if OMG is able to secure that Baron.
Cream gonna check out the bush there, provide a lot of vision gain there. The second charge comes across onto a tier 2 tower. Here comes OMG to focus down in case IG want to capitalize, but nothing gonna come of it just yet.
This is going to be an ARM, but IG have yet to take a single outer tower in this series, so we'll have to wait and see, because we just need one pick from either Crying, one hook land from Wink, and allow Beishang to follow up with that cease and desist, and I feel like that can force the numbers advantage that IG is so desperately looking for.
Man, Cream is abusing this clone back setup. It's so dirty. he can just take so much vision control. It doesn't do much, but he's just being such a menace right now to IG, and it just has led to 2 wave pushes coming in from OMG on bottom side.
We haven't seen Cream change into a oh,
there he is.
There it is.
Wait, why is there an
But
extra
does IG
why is
know?
there an extra melee minion?
Do they know?
They have to know. Count the minions. Just
Okay,
count it. There's
that
4.
was not believable, buddy. started space gliding on IG
Take some
with
notes.
that minion.
Take some notes from your gal. Go watch some tape. No, it's just trying to have a little bit of fun for Cream here. And I love to see it, right? They're just looking for anything they can get, because if they get one catch out, one slip out from IG, they are already in a gigantic lead, and it's just going to lead to the end of the game.
You often have two sides of the coin, right? Either these middle to bottom tier table teams, they struggle to stabilize in that early game, and they do draft themselves these late game heavy 5v5 compositions. But when you're set so far behind, I'm not too sure. I mean, nearing a 10k gold deficit at 19 minutes is not where you want to be. But if you also want to play not standard, that is going to require very high execution when it comes to mechanic and a bit of brain thinking. Something that comes to the top of my head is LGD and the way that they're able to utilize a champion like Blitzcrank and force the enemy AD carry out of an uncomfortable position. But we haven't seen that from Wink so far, other than the first kill that they got onto PP God.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely where Wink wanted to go, right? And OMG just knowing that was the direction, fanned out that Blitzcrank. Now you got to force the hand on a Pike, which just hasn't come alive yet. And OMG, on the other side of the conversation, are sitting there pretty, man. They have been able to find ways to work around this meta, lean to the strengths of their solo lanes, and utilize it very well. You were talking about execution. Well, OMG feel like the staple of execution for a lot of these off-meta compositions.
It's definitely, especially when you have so many players that have these niche picks or pocket picks in Shanzi and Cream, you do have to adapt yourself, kind of meet those expectations.
Oh,
but
Wink, you're just caught. There's so much CC. It was just in a bounce house, and Abel gets the kill. That's straight to the Baron for OMG.
Look, Wink, I guess you can try and walk up, but OMG, they're going to deny all entry towards this Baron pit when does TP, but Shanji in the back.
They got a flank from hell right now. Cream's going for it. They locked out Beishang. Welcome to the team again. As Aki gets the kill, Shanji has always been on the backside. He's just been there since the birth of time. As guillotines ring across the team of IG, the morale sinks to the lows.
It's safe to say the game is over when Darius auto and ulted your Zaya, and she's gone from the game. That is going to be Baron secured by
Shanji
OMG.
wants it. He wants it. Okay. Just the guillotine.
Wait, can he steal it? Can he be the final hero of this game with that hook?
Gonna try to do something here. Will not get it. It is Aki that gets the smite down. Wink may be looking for a little bit of troublemaking on the back, but you do get that back stopped at the last second. He's trying to get some damage out of Cream, but can't find it. Cream gets a 4th kill of the game.
We will get a replay of how this whole fight started, as we just have Cream focusing down the person with Smite on the IG roster, and it does force that numbers advantage where they didn't have that Pike. I just want everyone in the audience to look at Khan. He got ordered and ulted, and he's dead. Welcome to League of Legends, buddy, because this is the life of an AD carry when this Shanji person is on the opposing team.
Especially when he's got a menacing Darius like this. Second time we've gotten to see it, but it is a pleasure when we do, especially when they're in the lead. Now we have a tier 2 tower under threat here. OMG easily cleaned that one up, and with Abel behind them, with this Baron buff for 2 more minutes, they could siege down even further.
Now here's the problem, you need at least 2 members to stop Shanzi, and that does allow OMG to force a fight. Cream doesn't have that flash available, but they don't
Look
realize!
at the rocket jump! Pop Blossom on your backline! Beishang, you have just given yourself a disadvantage in this fight, and guess who has come knocking? It's the wolf himself, as Shanji gets the guillotine in the end, and it's just a guillotine for all of OMG's extremely hard oppression into IG. Extremely great stuff. We've seen 2 back-to-back games. Very clean from OMG. They should put the final touches on this one. And if they don't give over another kill, that means IG only got 1 kill in the entire series, as we do get that reset coming through.
You have Wink trying his best to pause these resets coming out of OMG, as they are going to slowly work towards that Hextech soul point. But IG now having to deal with
he just wants the back.
supers. I don't know how IG come back into this game, Mazel.
Wink. Sanji wants it. He doesn't get it. Aki gets the kill. Wink trying a little bit to fish there, but ends up catching a big old grouper he wasn't ready for.
I don't think the entire IG roster was ready for this series up against OMG because crying, you don't want to be there. You have the flash, but that's not where you want to be. You have to go back home.
The train is coming off the rails right now here, Arcadia. I think we're watching a train wreck happen in real time. We got crying caught in the side lane. And as OMG will look to take down this top side, defensive side of IG, really the only thing they have left to speak of.
It's not just a train wreck, it's a train wreck in slow motion because OMG, they've decided to take the safe approach. Instead of ending, they're going to triple inhib IG, slowly working towards this top side now with the Barons working into their base. But
they're 15,000 gold up.
This is a ginormous gold lead, but Cream, once again, I think that minion's a little bit large. Don't you think, Mazel?
It's a little sus, Somebody hit that emergency meeting button here for IG. As a skewer does go wide, IG are looking at their last gas defenses if OMG want to put the pedal to the metal here. They're just trying to get some waves in. Ooh, Shanji getting a little bit caught. Will the Wolf be able to turn it back around? Taking a lot of damage there, but Aki was right behind him with the steadfast presence. Oh, they're wanting it. They're hungry. The Sharks have formed back, and it's Shanji leading the charge here with the first blood of this fight. You got the guillotine #1, and does the Wolf come knocking? He comes second time, and out. The Wolf has come for IG, and they don't have any silver bullets left. OMG will pick them apart methodically. 3 kills total for this entire series for IG, and OMG improve to 4-2.
And OMG, they send IG running back home from the big bad wolf in this team. I mean, this was just 2 extremely convincing wins out of this roster and a huge turnaround from the previous few weeks.
Really impressive stuff from OMG. They have tamed what is seemingly the meta. They have found the things that work for them, the niche picks that work for them. And if you leave Nico open, they'll take it every time and smash you with it. That's 3 wins in a row now, as they have taken wins over NIP, RNG, and now IG. And it's looking like the momentum is on a forward trajectory for Oh My God.
Those are definitely the perfect words to describe this series. Oh my god, because Shanji locking in the Darius ever since getting that first skirmish win for the Rift Herald, we saw that OMG, they weren't planning on slowing down, and we've seen glimpses of at least the solo laners doing extremely great when it comes to these team fights. But someone else I wanted to highlight for tonight is definitely Abel on that Tristana, because yes, OMG denied a lot of kill opportunity going over towards IG. Abel was the man of the night. He was the macro king. He took down every single tower towards that top side and really denied how Wink was able to pilot this pike and putting Beishang and Wink on a chokehold pretty much for these 2 series.
And now you have to find answers to this Tristana. I mean, before this series, Abel is sitting at over a 30% damage share of his team. And if that doesn't show where a lot of the resources end up going, a lot of carry performance end up going, I don't know what else does, because Abel has been that kind of cornerstone so far. And you find ways to play off that with the solo lanes. You have a lot of those niche picks coming through, but it's always Abel that they rely on.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's just nice to see that OMG, they have so many unique champions that do truly belong to themselves, because you just think of OMG's roster, they're all a lot of fun, because I feel like they do take the game extremely fast in terms of pacing, but obviously on the other end of the stick, it is IG receiving their second series loss in a row with Wen and Beishang on the roster. And I feel like this series, they definitely have a lot to take from, because you see the inexperience coming out of the top side for at least Wen and Beishang, where they weren't able to really mold together as a team. Yes, you were playing your lanes correctly, but when it came to team fights, that's half the game.
Yeah, and for Beishang, right, he spent so much time on Team WE and was a very aggressive center jungler that needed some priority in his lanes to really find success on. You know, he wasn't playing this last split, now coming in for IG, trying to make things work where maybe it's a little bit hectic, a little bit chaotic. First things first, I need to see priority in mid lane and in top. And I think with the Cassante, you had a little bit of that, but getting those pieces to work around Beishang will be so important. And we saw that taken advantage of tonight, as you were kind of mentioning.
Yeah, and you see Cream doing 18k damage on this Nico. There's a reason why this champion is in a tier of its own compared to the rest, like the Annie and the Aries. And I think IG, they really need to go back to the drawing board and reconsider what they truly prioritize when it comes to the first 3 champions that they lock in, because now 8th game in a row, 7 losses and 1 win on Crying. And even in that 1 win, it was because Crying was just an amazing he had to be the carry pretty much of IG. And I feel like when you give champions like the Ahri, or at least draft towards Ahri, we did see it slightly hovered for the second game draft, that that allows for a lot more mobility and flexibility when it comes to those team fights, instead of just saying, Crying, you have to ult with the flash in as well, and if you miss everything, well, you're pretty much dead.
Well, it sounds like our interview is ready. We've had a come-up story for Cream since his best rookie of LPL Summer 2021. He feels like he's getting back to form finally. We'll get to hear from him and Christina, so let's go check it out.
Hello there, welcome to Post-Game Interview. I'm Christina. We're joined by Krem, the millionaire for OMG. Congratulations on your 2-0 victory. Such a dominant win for you. From your perspective, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you evaluate your performance today against IG? 欢迎 Krem 选手来到我们的赛后采访。恭喜 OMG 在今天2-0拿下了对手。今天这2场对局打的都是非常具有统治力的表现。那么0分、1分到10分的话，你会给队伍今天的表现打几分呢
？8分吧。
为什么呢？可不可以跟我说哪些方面表现的比较好？
我们就前中期设计的比较好。
Okay, I would like to give 8 points on a scale of 1 to 10 because we did a better job in the mid to late game designs. And I also want to touch something about game 1. As you mentioned, you did a perfect job in early to mid game. Your opponent didn't get a single dragon or a turret or a kill. So what do you attribute this win to, especially in game 1? 那么其实正像 Krem 选手说的，在前中期的设计比较好。第一局的时候，前面你们就反映出来了，打得非常具有节奏性，特别好。而且在第一局的时候，对面甚至没有拿到任何一条龙、一座塔和一个人头。你觉得在第一局具体来说，你们觉得能够获得比赛的胜利，主要是哪些方面呢？可以从队员角度啊，或者说是其他角度都来评价一下吧。
我觉得是我们下半区对线打得比对面好吧。然后我们也去设计的，也想了很多，就开局前。
So firstly, I think our bowling did a perfect job than our opponent. And before this matchup, we have designed so many strategies in jungle. And today you have achieved 200 games in LPL. I still remember you got best rookie in 2021 summer split. So from that season to now, how would you evaluate your performance, your improvements as a mid laner for OMG? 那么今天的 Crime 选手这边是解锁了 LPL 200胜场这样一个里程碑。我们还记得21年夏季赛的时候，你刚刚登场就拿到了最佳新秀。所以从那个赛季到现在，你是怎么样评价自己的一个进步呢？这个里程碑对你来说意味着什么呢？
我觉得最大的进步应该是我心态上面的进步吧。然后我觉得感受就是时间过得有点快，一下就不是新人了。
So I think the biggest improvement or involvement of myself is my mentality. I become more mature in terms of my mentality, and you know how time flies. I feel I'm not a rookie player now for this milestone. And the final question for you: OMG performed very well in spring split, especially in playoffs, and in summer season we have a lot of expectations for you. So what's your goal for summer split? How far do you think you can go in summer? 那么最后一个问题，在今年的 OMG 的表现，春季赛的时候，特别是季后赛，大家对你们印象非常深刻。来到了夏季赛，大家对 OMG 这支队伍也有很高的期待嘛。所以作为 OMG 的一员，你觉得在这个夏天，你们想展现出怎么样的风格？你觉得在这个夏天，队伍能走多远呢？
想展现一个就是疯狂吧，敢打敢拼吧，就想走多远的目标就世界赛吧。
So in the summer, we really want to show you a OMG with very crazy playstyle and enthusiastic and so many like a crazy team for OMG. And our goal for summer season is making the world. Thank you so much for joining me. 也谢谢Crime 选手来到我们的赛后采访，希望 OMG 之后越来越好。Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Christina, and great to hear from Cream. They want to give us entertainment while making it to Worlds, and I will take that every day of the week, Kitty. Cream will also get MVP, rightfully so.
And something that I really enjoyed out of Cream's interview is that he just wants to bring on a show, saying something like they just want to be Kwang. And our motto for the summer is 年轻就是要狂, which means the youth has to be that crazy self. And of course, for this ongoing motto, it is the power of the youth, and Cream, being that rookie deserving achievement, is going to pick up the damage. Oh, no, is not going to pick up the damage. MVP while having a 37% damage share on this Nico. I mean, this guy was absolutely insane. As it all started off with OMG kind of